Big trends for 2022. Hey everyone, Howard Kingston here, entrepreneur, marketer, and co-founder of Growth Velocity Academy. And this is my 2022 trends and exciting stuff going ahead in 2022. I do a session like this and I talk about trends once a year. And this is the one for 2022. So let's do this. So when we think about new technology and trends, every single year there's always these kind of new pieces of technology that are coming out. And, it's not slowing down. I remember I was at a event a little while ago and there was this futurist talking, these guys who just talk about the future. And I remember he said something that just really landed with me, that the world is never going to change as slowly again as it is today. All right. So whenever you're listening to this or seeing this, just think about that. You may think, oh, wow, stuff is really changing at the moment, especially with everything that's happened in the world over the last year or two. Well, here's the thing. Actually, this is the slowest it's ever going to change again. Things are not slowing down from here. You look at all these things like blockchain, cryptocurrency, AI, all these kind of trends that are coming in, and stuff is just moving more and more fast. And that might either excite you or scare the life out of you. I know for me, it gets me really excited. And I just think if you're the type of person that is willing to learn stuff and kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable learning stuff, then you're going to be in a really great place, because most people are not like that. Anyway, that said, enough about what I think about, the opportunities there. What are some of the big trends? And I tried to boil this down into three big trends I see for 2022. All right. So tip number one is a kind of trend number one, I should say, is communities. All right, communities. Now, this is not just normal communities. You've been hearing about communities for years. That's nothing new. You say, Howard, I know about communities. No, this is different. This is underground communities going overground. Underground going overground. Now, what do I mean by that? There's something I've seen and something I've been exploring and investigating heavily in last year was the rise of these underground communities online. All right. Now, there's a huge movement of communities hanging out in these unusual places that you may or may not know about. All right. And I've been spending a lot of time looking at them last week, and there's something there. All I'd say is there is definitely something there. Where are these hanging out? So there's these platforms that people are hanging out in huge quantities. One of them is something called Discord. Now, you may have heard about Discord if you're a gamer or something like that, but maybe not. I know a lot of people haven't, or, maybe have heard about it, but not really know anything about it. So Discord is a platform a little bit like Slack, but a bit different. All right. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a bit like Slack, or, probably, yeah, similar to Slack, but it's a bit different at the same time. And there are huge communities hanging out on there, particularly around the areas of crypto, NFTs, stuff like that. And you might say, oh, well, that's all a bit edgy, but that's where the early adopters are now. All right. So that's where the people who are kind of really at the cutting edge of technology and new stuff are hanging out. So Discord is one. If you're interested in exploring Discord, just see the size of the communities. I'm in all these communities on Discord. One of them, I'm just going to give you an example of one. If you want to go and check it out, Google the Hape Beast Discord community. Hape Beast Discord community. It's a Discord community for, it's going to be linked to an NFT, but there's 250,000 people in there at the moment. 250,000. All right. That's no small number. And I mean, they are so active. People are posting and creating art and stuff like that and posting it. And I've never seen such a level of engagement in a community as this Hate Beast community. Hypebeast is one of the kind of up and coming hot NFTs, by the way. If you're wondering what that is, just Google it, check it out. If you do, you'll need to sign up to Discord and stuff like that. If you're willing, I do recommend you check that out. So a lot of it's happening on Discord. Also, Twitter. Who would have thought in 2021 and 2022 that Twitter would make a comeback? I was big into Twitter kind of 10 years ago, more, and I used to do a lot on Twitter, and then I just kind of like left it because, you know, I was more excited about Insta and Facebook and stuff like that. And who would have thought that in 2022 Twitter would be super relevant again? So a lot of these communities are popping up on Twitter as well as Reddit. All right. So Reddit, again, Reddit's a little bit, you know, has always been a little bit kind of, you know, underground as well. But this is the year that I see these underground communities just becoming more relevant and going overground. All right. And if you think about a lot of movements, everything from like, you know, dance music and, you know, all these kind of things start underground and then eventually they get mass adoption. So I definitely recommend you understand what's going on there. It's a trend you got to know about in 2022. All right. Trend number two. Trend number two is influencer marketing. Now, again, you might kind of go, Howard, influencer marketing's been around for years. What's going on? Why are you talking about that in a trend piece for 2022? Again, influencer marketing, I see, it's one of these things that it's a bit like VR, you know, it's been there and thereabouts for quite a few years now. But this year I see it getting even bigger. All right. Now, you know, it's a kind of, at certain times things are around for a while, but certain times things go really start multiplying even more. And I see influencer marketing doing that. Why? Well, if you remember in kind of December time, December 2022, there was a lot of news out there that that TikTok had overtaken Google as having the most traffic of any website on the internet. Now, let me just repeat that for a minute. All right, Google, like pretty much the homepage of the internet. This app called TikTok, which a lot of people think is just crazy, actually outpaced Google and got more traffic. Now, this is just a little bit of a sign of what to come. Now, 2022 are really seeing being a year of the creator for a few of these reasons. One is the rise of these platforms like TikTok, and then all the other platforms like Facebook owns just copying TikTok's, you know, functionality. And, you know, so then you're going to have even more user base. But also what's been happening in the world of NFTs. If you're unsure what an NFT is, check out my video on Web3, which I highly recommend you check out. I'm not going to talk more about what an NFT is here because I've done another video and podcast on just exactly how all that works. So we'll link to that in the notes. But the thing about NFTs, let me talk about why that's interesting for influencer marketing, because the rise of the creator and, you know, TikTok getting so big, and then you've got these things called NFTs, which really allow influencers to monetize their audience more than ever before. You look at someone, just check out someone called Gary Vaynerchuk, which some of you will have heard of, quite a famous influencer. He dropped an NFT this year called VFriends. Right, and he would have made, you know, on just by selling these like digital drawings, he was able to generate millions of revenue through it. Now, what I see with this is it's a movement towards influencers being able to kind of monetize in a new way. All right, and that is going to just build the influence of influencers more. And from personal experience, I've been dabbling more in influencer marketing in 2021, and I have seen the impact it can have. I can just see influencer marketing getting more and more impactful because I think people's trust in these big platforms like Facebook and stuff like that is kind of at an all-time low. And people now trust the people on it, you know, a human, more than they trust, you know, just plain advertising on a platform. That's my take on that. So if you haven't dabbled on actually trying some influencer marketing in 2022, I recommend you really check that out. It is really impactful. We've had incredible results from it ourselves in our companies, and I recommend you check it out. Okay, and then trend number 3 I see is audio. Trend for 2022 is audio. Now, 2021 and a bit 2020, you would have remembered there was this big platform called Clubhouse. Remember Clubhouse? It just went from like 0 to boom, and then no one really talks about it anymore. But with all these things, there's something there. All right. Now, I'm not saying that I still think Clubhouse is the big play when it comes to these audio. That was Clubhouse, if you don't remember, was a big platform all about audio. All right. And it was kind of like these live audio rooms. You could almost like a live podcast environment. And it was really popular for a while, but there was a lot of hype around it, really. And it was just really a lot of people hyping it. And that's normal with new technologies. A lot of time you get this like hype curve and then things drop off, but there is something there. And there's a behavior there that is going to stay. Now, I'm not saying that it's still going to be in Clubhouse. All right. Now, Clubhouse are backed by one of the top VCs, Adrian Horowitz. So, I would back, so anything that they back, they're going to have an amazing team. But I'm not convinced that Clubhouse is the platform. But it could be that you see the likes of Twitter, for example. Twitter already have a massive user base. And like I said earlier, that Twitter is kind of having a resurgence. Now, Twitter launched something called Twitter Spaces last year, which is essentially like a live audio room, a bit like Clubhouse, right? But it's built into Twitter. And I do see people adopting that still really, really heavily. And the same with Facebook has audio rooms that they've launched. That's very recent. So still to remain to be seen how that does. But what you can see is now these big platforms are really like doubling down on like launching their own audio experiences. And we saw something like this a few years ago. Do you remember Periscope with live streaming? Periscope was the OG live streaming kind of platform, but everyone had to sign up to Periscope to use it. And then every other platform went, oh, that's something interesting. Let's copy that. And now you have live streaming and lives on everything from Instagram. You got it on like Facebook, and it's really popular even on YouTube and stuff like that. It's really popular, right? So I see there is a kernel of behavior there, but I don't see necessarily. I'm not sure if Clubhouse is going to be the winner. Who knows? They could be. I don't think so. I think the winner in audio is going to be something like Twitter, or it's going to build a bit of a resurgence in podcasts as well. So 2022. Maybe it's the year that you try something in the world of audio. Maybe it's something on Twitter with a Twitter space. Maybe it's a Facebook audio room, or maybe you launch a podcast. We launched a podcast in 2022, and I've just been like blown away with how awesome it's been. So do check it out. If you haven't already, do check out our episodes. And it kind of makes sense with audio, isn't it? Because I kind of feel in the last 2 years or so, with lockdown and everything, everyone being online, I think more and more people are getting fatigue, all right, of kind of staring at a screen. So some other ways to consume information, I think it makes sense. Okay, so these are my 3 top tips for 2022 for particularly trends in the world of digital marketing and marketing. Now, there's lots of else out there. Last year, I forecasted that AI was going to be a big one in 2021 when it comes to marketing tools, and I think I was really on the money there. So I'm not including that again in 2022. Yes, I'm still bullish more and more and more. You're going to have AI in tools, but like most of the tools we use now in marketing has AI in it. So I almost think that was last year's trend. This year, this is some of the stuff that hopefully you haven't heard of before that I want you to keep an eye out for, because these are the things. It's always when you get in early on things that you can really benefit from them the most. Okay, so I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Is there any more trends that you think we should be thinking about for 2022 that maybe I've missed? I'd love to hear that. And as always, do check us out. We've got some notes below, as well as a way if you want to get some help with your digital marketing career, or you're wanting to launch a business, figure out how to get customers, just click the link in the comments below and you'll be able to book in a call with one of my team who will give you a free complimentary strategy call, give you a little bit of a helping hand, help you map out what your next steps are. Okay, peace out everybody, and I'll see you in the next episode, and have a great 2022.